You don't wake up knowing markets, kid. Everybody starts brand new. First you learn what moves, what waits, and what risk can really do. No racing clocks, no magic tricks, no get rich overnight. Just learning how to place a trade and sleep cozy and tight. No shortcuts, no loud claims, just rules you understand. Know what you're risking, know your why. Keep a steady hand. One trade at a time, that's how it's done. Slow is smooth and smooth is smart. You learn before you earn, my friend. That's how confidence starts. This ain't a sprint, it's a longer game. So pull up a chair and plan. Welcome to Options for Beginners with Dan.
Dan, how the heck are you?
I'm doing good, Troy. Here's my goal. And, if you said to me, what's the goal as far as the beginners, the goal really more than anything is to get those for beginners. If we can, get those last two little guys that were on the show in your song, Troy, those are the most adorable, but they would be great for the beginner options. We could talk with them, but have them dressed like they are. It's unbelievable. Those are good. Hey, welcome everybody. We're glad to be here today, and we're gonna go over quickly. Troy has an over under on this already that I'm not going to get through with half what I'm going over. And I bet on what Troy did also, just to let you know. I'm betting on Troy.
It's a smart bet, Dan. Listen, sometimes you just got to take.
Yeah, and Troy, we have a Word doc, which Troy is going to post in Discord. And
posted it in the Discord channel?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to take folks, just a long call. We're going to use a long call, 20 Delta and Microsoft, buying it out of the money call. But I'm trying to get away from just the textbook definition of all these and bring in, like, when we talk about buying a call, that we can teach some of the beginning concepts, but there's stuff in there for if you're medium level, if you're advanced level. There's a couple things here I had to brush up on oh yeah, I forgot about that. What is that again? Or whatever. So there's a lot in here. And then we're going to do, again, my approach to the beginner material is repetition. It's the fundamentals. I'm Gene Hackman in the Hoosiers, right? Fellas, I don't care. We're going to do the fundamentals. If you're not going to do the fundamentals, you're going to go home. If you're not going to listen, and that's really what it is getting the fundamentals down pat. And let's go in repetition. So we're going to go quickly over this Word doc. I'm sure we'll drag it into Friday. Just to let you know, here's what I'm going to be honest with you here. We're going to go over this Word doc. It'll go quickly, but you'll have it. So you can go over it. This is based on Microsoft yesterday, not today with it down $6, $7. But then we're going to model, Troy's going to model a 20 Delta long call about 90 days out. We'll go through it a little bit, and then Friday morning, we're going to have a little bit of a quiz, right? To see if you picked up on, and we've got, on this Word doc, I have it in black and red. Black is kind of your basic, what is an option contract multiplier, option strike price, stuff that you say, okay, that's fundamental, dear Watson, right? But then in red, I put how when we're still talking about this long call, now is Emerald, right, in the Cook Show, bam, he puts a little bit extra sauce on there. We're going to bring in, even on a long call, Delta, Gamma, Vega, expected move, implied volatility. Earnings are coming up in a few weeks. The pricing model, historical volatility, probability of touching, option graph. And this could be over a couple days, but at least you'll have it in the video, because if you don't see, I know for me, if I don't see some practical of a concept, it just kind of, it's like making hot dogs on the moon. It doesn't mean absolutely anything, right? So let's dig in here, and then we'll model here and try. We're on a little bit of a not tight. I mean, I think it's good, but this keeps me moving. And
Yep. Would it be helpful to go ahead and model it out and then talk through it, Dan?
well, the only reason if we model the 20 Delta, Microsoft, I think is down like $7 today.
Yeah, it is.
But I'll just go quick. I'll go like literally 5-6 minutes on this.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And then we'll get into the modeling, a couple more Vince Lombardi expressions for you, and then we'll get going. We can't put that up as I talk
It's
about
in the Discord channel. So go to the Discord
they got
channel
it.
and
Go to
yeah.
Discord channel. And which channel? Oh, the show.
We have our very own channel, Dan. We have This is Option Trading for Beginners under
Right.
Option Mega Live. So everybody who's verified
Okay.
has access.
All right. Thanks. All right. So and Troy, come in here if I'm missing something on this, but we'll just go through this. I'm starting on top and going down as you look at this example on, and then Troy's going to model in a second. But as we look at, I'm just going off this Word doc that you can get it on. Troy posted it.
I did it. Here we go. People can see it.
As we do this on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, please get verified. Get an option because I'll be posting stuff on there, and you guys can make that bigger. But first of all, what is an option contract? Troy and I make, and I'm going off this example that I took in Microsoft yesterday, right? So just so you know, but it'll still apply. So when Troy and I make an option contract, I'm going to Troy and I'm saying, hey, Troy, I'm going to buy an April 17, 5:30 call. So it's about 90 days out. Stock's at 470. I'm buying at 60 points out of the money. Troy looks at me with the cigar in his mouth. He says, you're stinking crazy. This market's going down. That is toast, right? Toast means it's nothing. And the price is $7. He says, I will gladly, Dan, take your $7, right? So I come in, I pay $7, $700 is my margin. That's what I pay for an April 17, 5:30 call yesterday with Microsoft at 470. Troy gladly takes the $700. He says, thank you. And then he whispers to his friends in the neighborhood, he's an idiot, right? He's an idiot. All right, so he gets 700. Now, the thing I'm not going to mention, which won't be as beginner, my cost and risk is $700. If Troy sells it to me for $700, that's another thing. His margin at the brokerage firm, basically, Uncle Vito from The Sopranos is going to call, Troy, do you know what you're doing? And Troy says, in his soprano voice, yes, I do. I'm taking his money. Well, but they're saying, do you realize you're selling a naked call, Troy? You're going to have unlimited risk. We're going to charge you enough margin that you may have to loan us your kids till you come up with, it might take $50,000, right? I don't know what the margin would be. I haven't checked, but the margin will be pretty high. So we're not going to hit that. But this option contract between Troy and Dan, it's just a contract, right? It's just saying, I'm saying, right? Now, the contract is going to be a theoretical thing, right? In reality, if I'm a buyer of a call, out of the money call, I'm not holding it till expiration, right? But when you're talking the contract, you're talking theoretical, saying, Troy and I have an agreement. As of April 17, if we are over $530, Troy keeps the $700, says, thank you very much. If we're over 530, I can buy the stock for 530, right? Now, with the stock at 470, this doesn't mean anything, right? Stock's at 470. Why would I buy the stock at 530? I'm not, right? I'm not going to buy the stock at, the stock's at 470. I'm not going to buy the stock at 530, the strike price, because I can buy it at 470. So really, at expiration, unless we're over the strike price, I'm losing the money. probabilities are I'm losing to Troy on this, right? So there's no way I'm going to hold this till expiration. The practical tip is I'm going to be out of, I'm waiting till this goes up, basically looking to make 30 or 40%. I buy it at $7, right? If I made 40% on 700, it would be almost $300. So if I buy it at 7, sell it at 10. That's what we're looking to do, right? We're not, this has nothing to do with going to expiration, but there is a contract, right? If I held it to expiration, I'm obligating myself, right? If I buy the 5:30 call, I'm obligating myself to buy 100 shares at 5:30 at expiration. So I'm buying it out of the money at $7. Now, the contract multiplier is 100. If I pay $7, contract multiplier is 100. Call option. Why is it call option? And why did I pick buying a call? Because most people, if they're getting in options and they're going to buy an option, I wouldn't think they'd start with a put. Calls are easier to understand. They're going to buy a call. And because we're all cheapskates at heart, we'd rather buy an out of the money call. It's going to be cheaper. And so what is an out of the money? So I'm going to hit on most of these concepts. Out of the money in the calls, your strike price is higher than the stock price. This doesn't mean anything, right? It's like I'm saying on Troy's property, Troy, you don't know this, but there's oil under your land, right? Prices have gone up in Knoxville. I say, Troy, I'll pay you $700,000 for the house. Dan, it's only worth $600,000. I'll pay you $750,000. Troy says, sold. So, well, if I know there's oil under there, I'd pay a lot more. So it'd be like if I made a contract with him and I could say, Troy, we'll make an agreement. I'll buy your house, or what would be the thing with an option contract here? I would say with an option contract, how would it be? I'm getting myself caught up in, I just like the analogy, but I'm thinking, how would this look for an option contract? It would be, here it is for a long call. House is worth 600. I make a contract with Troy to buy it for 900,000, right? Over the next 2 years, right? That I can, over the next 2 years. But if oil's under the property and in 2 years it's worth 2 million, I'm going to exercise that call. But Troy did the deal with me. He sold it to me because there's no way this is going up to $900, right? So that would be the same. I mean, you can make an option contract for anything, right, Troy? I mean, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the strike price is $530. The premium is $7. What are some terms for option price? Option price, option premium. When you're buying an out of the money call, if you're from an Italian family, juice, right? The mafia juice. But that's just your premium. Now, the other thing is there's a bid ask. When I was going in here, the bid ask, and I'm just going on the Word doc from top to bottom, excuse me, 665 to 680. Where should you put an order in on the bid ask? If it's a debit transaction, I'll watch the mid. There is no such thing as a mid price. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a mid price. There's a mid range. Watch the mid price for 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Put it a little bit under, slowly raise it to $5, in something like Microsoft to see where you would get filled. Now here I'm buying a call. Just put it on the bid, right? It's not like the minute you buy it, Microsoft's going up. So try to get a good price on it. Option expiration or duration, we're buying April 17, 94 days out. Why am I using 90 days out? This is just an example, right? There's an expiration. Now, reality is when you're buying a long call, give yourself time to be wrong, right? Do I know something? Do I have Bill Gates' phone number Bill, are we going up? No, I don't, right? And so, but giving yourself extra duration, right, to be wrong, right? Microsoft, I liked it yesterday from a long call. You'd like it more today. There's now another $7. but give yourself enough time to be right. Out of the money, we talked about extrinsic value. Extrinsic value, if we're buying a 20 delta call, and we'll get to delta in a second, it's all out of the money calls are extrinsic. It's just extrinsic value. What does that mean? They're worth nothing, right? It's like I'm saying, I'll buy Troy's house, 300,000. If we go, well, let's stick with this strike here. I'm buying an out of the money call, right? In this example, we're buying the 530 call. We're at 470. We're nowhere near 530, right? Right. So I'm paying a premium to Troy of $7 that if we don't get up to 530 at expiration, right? If we don't get up to expiration at the strike, he gets the money. But here's the beauty of this call, folks. Can we both make money on this trade? Can Troy be victorious in me? Yes. Probably we're going to finish under 530 in 90 days or whatever. Troy can get his money and I can make my money. If we make a move up, a sharp move up, $20, $25, I could get 30%. We can be nowhere near the short strike and I'm out, right? Right? And so people think that there's a loser and a seller. No, there's a lot going on in between, right? It's like, who's holding the bag at the end, right? Troy sells me a call, I buy a call, right? We had a contract, but we're switching out of that, right? In other words, I'm getting out. Troy can stay in the whole trade. I don't have to, right? So I'm out. In a week or so, he's still staying in. So now my contract, would that be right to say, I've kind of changed my contract. I'm no longer with Troy because I'm selling out my call to somebody else. Now, let's get into Delta. The reason why we at least have to talk about Delta today is because in the last week or two, when we went into Venezuela, right? Delta Force. I love Navy SEALs. I love anything to do with special ops. Navy SEAL gets a lot of publicity. Delta Force. It was good.
You're a Delta Force guy. Yeah.
Delta Force guy. So if you look at Delta, we're buying a 20 Delta out of the money. It has many different meanings. Number one, 20 Delta is an out of the money call, right? So let's just stick on there red there with the word. Let's just stick with the Delta stuff.
And for people who are learning deltas, you say 20 deltas an out of the money call. What would be an in the money delta?
Yeah, in the money delta would be 70, 80, 90. That's where the strike price would be below the stock price. And so the first thing in terms of delta, think in terms of stock equivalent, right? If we buy a 20 delta call, right? And let's say Troy bought 5 of them. Or I'm the buyer, Troy's the seller. If I buy 5 20 delta calls, 5 times 20 is 100. I'm long 100 shares of stock, right? In terms of delta, stock is 100 deltas. Dan, what do you mean by stock is 100 deltas? If it goes up $1, you make 100. Goes down $1, you make 100. You lose 100, right? Make 100 if it goes up. If you're long, if it goes down, you lose it. Think in terms of delta for small moves. If that's a confusing concept, think in terms of stock equivalency, right? So if I buy, if I buy a 20 delta, or if I buy 5 20 delta options, I have 100 deltas, right? We go up $1, I make about $100. We go down $1, I lose $100. So think of it in stock. Now, if I just buy 20 deltas, it's just going up by 20. Right? It's going up by 20. So delta, first definition, delta in terms of stock equivalency, right? Everybody understands stock. So when you relate it, think of delta as stock. That's number one. Number two definition of delta, it's probabilities. It's telling me right off the bat, listen, Yo-Yo, Dan, you're buying a 20 delta call. The probability in 90 some days here, April 17, of this call finishing, you making money on it, finishing in the money at expiration is 20%. right? Unless I know Bill, right? Or Ballmer, right? Ballmer would have, he's another, isn't he a Microsoft guy, Ballmer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he has the nicest indoor arena
Yeah,
ever
that's right.
lived. So,
That's right.
so we're buying a 20 delta. So there's only a 20% probability. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, why would I buy this thing? Right? I'm thinking there'll be a move up. It's cheap. I'm buying it because it's cheap, right? And I think it'll go up, but I got to get out when it goes up, right? That's really the practical part of it. What's another definition? There's another definition that says, even though there's only a 20% probability, it's going to finish over the short strike in 94 days or whatever. There's this concept that's on their list, and this will be on the quiz, probability of touching. Generally, it's about 2 times that. So it's saying there's a 40% probability if you buy a 20 delta, 40% probability that the probability of touching the strike, right, which is 530, is 40%. So what does that mean in English? It means that it could get near that short strike, right? You'll get a shot, right? As Marlon Brando said in the movie, by the what's the movie, Troy, where he said, "I could have been a contender." Do you remember that?
That's a boxcar, Desire boxcar, something like that.
No, it was I forget. But anybody who anybody who answers that question in the chat, you get 2 points for
2 points. That's right.
But the bottom line is, you're gonna get a shot, probably, right? Probably where the thing can move up, right? You may get one shot to get out of this thing, right? Probability of touching. Probability out of the money, we already figured if there's only a 20 delta, what's the probability it's going to stay out of the money? Probably 80%, right? All right. And what's the probability? Here's the thing, folks. For those of you who think you want to hold it till expiration, the probability of it finishing in the money is only about 17, 18%. Again, it's all derived from this 20 delta, right? If there's a 20% delta of it, probability of it winning, 20 from 100, there's an 80% of it losing, right? So holding it to expiration should be staring you in the face. Houston, we got a problem. This is not going to work, right? Troy, and there's other concepts. I think I'm going to wait just because we're getting here, and I want to spend a little bit of time on the graph.
Yeah.
Maybe mention some more things like the Greeks and the deltas, but just try to talk about a long call without and hopefully be helpful to beginners, but make it practical and talk about other things. So now we introduced to you folks Microsoft. It's going to be a little different strike price. So it's not going to be, we used the 530 strike price yesterday when Microsoft was at 470. Now, Troy, what is the Microsoft today? If we liked it yesterday, Microsoft is at what price today?
463.68.
All right, so Microsoft is at 463.68 today. So it's dropped about $7. And what is a 20 delta? We're still looking at April 17 is how far out today, Troy?
93 days.
So we're 93 days out, folks. And if we look at a 20 delta, what's a 20 delta?
The 20 delta is split the difference. Let's say it's 530.
Yeah. So 530. Isn't it interesting? The 20 delta is the same I used yesterday. So it's 530 is the strike. So we're at 463. Oh, maybe because volatility went up.
Vol went up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm buying the 530 strike. And what's the price, Troy, if we write kind of around?
Let's say it's 583, so $58.
580. Oh yeah, $58. What's the bid ask on that on the 530s?
We're only going to show the mid, so the spread with about 15 cents.
580. So you're paying about $5.80. Troy, maybe we can, you know what you can do on there, just so we can deal with the math easier, maybe we can save it in the model at 580.
Sure.
That'd be
Yeah,
fair.
we'll save it.
So we're paying basically, it's $5.80, folks. So we pay $5.80 times 100, the multiplier, 580. And then let's look at some things here. I think we got a good 10 minutes here, and we're gonna try to get in some of these other concepts that are in the red. Now we pick it up a little bit. Emerald throws the bam.
That's right.
All right, so here we go. So let me just say this. People talk about a shameless plug. I mean this from the heart. This is not a shameless plug. If you don't have the modeling software for $15 a month, you ought to get it. You can keep up with everything that we're doing on the shows, but here's the thing. I think for beginning, it's the best modeling tool I've ever seen for quickness that you can move through and analyze and teach yourselves the Greeks and the different relationships. And I love that it's got implied volatility. You can tweak. I've never seen another tool that you can tweak each of the. It doesn't show it here because we're just buying a call. But if you're doing a mixed one spread, you can tweak each volatility. But it's quick, right? So, and we'll get through that. But let's go over a few definitions here, and then we'll expand it. So we're in the red now. Delta of it says delta of 19, which would be basically delta of 20. We're buying a call. We're buying current price is 590. So we're locked in here, and we'll follow this tomorrow or Friday also. $580. 580 is where we're locked in. The SP, what is this thing?
It's a Microsoft.
Microsoft is trading, whatever this thing is, Microsoft is trading at $464, folks. So this strike, which is 530 strike, right? The 530 strike is way out of the money, right? It's like $6 out of the money. Yep. And let me just all right, so let's look at the deltas. The deltas are about 20. Let's go right to the theta. Theta is 9.6. What does that mean, right? What is that theoretical theta of 9.7? We'll work on that, and that's be about $10. And that just means as we're paying, right? As we're paying, Troy's paying $580. It's saying basically this thing is decaying theoretically. This isn't take it to the bank. Theoretically, $10 a day. Does everybody get that? So if nothing happens today, it's saying theoretically, this should be $570 tomorrow, correct? Did I say that right? All right. As the day goes on and the coffee wears off, it's good to get other opinions on basic mathematical equations here. So now we lose theta of about $10 a day. Now, is that actual or is it real? It's a decent shot that you're going to lose $10 a day. What could, we'll stay away from what could, we'll just leave it at that. So that's a theoretical number. It doesn't always happen about that. If volatility were to, we'll get to that. So we go to Vega next to it, 63, right? That's a bigger number. It's like that big fat Greek wedding, right? 63, that's a big number. And as it is there in the modeling, Vega is the expected change in the options price for 1 percentage point change in implied volatility. So what that means is we just paid 580. If volatility, what's the implied volatility right here, Troy, of that option?
25.
2580, like?
Yeah.
So let's say it's 2580. So what that's saying, folks, is that if the implied volatility goes up one more point, Dan, practically, how could that happen? Microsoft keeps getting hammered more today, right? If the volatility goes up, that premium of 580 would go up by the amount of the Vega. Dan, say that again. So the Vega is like 62, 63. Let's round it to 60.
Yeah.
Vega is 60. 1 point of volatility, if the implied volatility goes up from where Troy has it, 2586, let's call it 26. If it goes from 26 to 27, that premium will go up 580 all the way to the amount of your Vega 640.
Yep.
Dan, could that happen without the price of the underlying? I just got a, just so people know, we're pretty smart in the Sheridan house. I got from my wife, it was the movie was On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando.
Shout out Mrs. Sheridan, if she can hear me. Shout out Mrs. Sheridan. And then shout out Mr. Flawless, who was with Mrs. Sheridan on the guest on the waterfront. Mr. Flawless and Mrs. Sheridan have 2 points.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, my wife did not Google it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's just not in her style to Google it. All right. So that's Vega. Now, can that happen from a practical application? Dan, are you saying that even if the price of the underlying does not go down to raise the premium levels, if we're unchanged, theoretically, could my 580 go to 640, go to the amount of the Vega? Could my 580 go to 640 if the stock doesn't move? It's not, probably not, right? In one day without help from the downside, but it is saying, yes. I mean, this is pure Vega. We're saying, so it's usually the amount of the Vega. Price goes down, the Vega goes up. So what does that also mean from a practical point of view? If I or Troy buys a call and Microsoft gets hit some more, if volatility goes up, I'm still losing, but I'm not losing as much as I thought I was going to lose, right? I don't know if that's consolation or anything like that. Let's look at gamma of 0.4. What the heck does that mean? Gamma is the first cousin of delta. Gamma is the rate of change of delta for a $1 change in the underlying price. So it's saying if my delta is close to 20, right? As we start going up, every point in Microsoft will go from, all right, right now our delta is 18.6. So as we go up, right, a point, that's going to go up from 18.6 to 19. Then 19, the next dollar, right, Troy? 19 to 19.4. And eventually, as we start going up 20, 30 points, that gamma will change. That delta will arise, right? The delta will start coming about. Right now, it's kind of dead in the water. It's 20. So gamma is just, gamma and delta go together for price risk. It's telling you as we go up, telling you how that delta will change. It also will tell you on the downside, as we move further away from our dream of going up to the strike price on this of 530, that delta will go to 0, right? Troy, can you just show a little bit? Some of what I'm going to quiz on tomorrow is, okay, our delta right now is 18.5.
Yep.
Troy, could you focus on the Greeks, put in the delta there, and just show as time changes, folks, watch the delta. So you're getting, see how the delta, as we go towards expiration, you can see what happens to the delta. That's important to know. Go slowly backwards, Troy. So we're going to talk about more Friday, how delta changes as expiration changes. Do I need to know that? As Sylvester Stallone says, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Let's look at theta. Troy, just take away delta and look at theta and show it from the beginning of the trade, right? So let's focus there. Focus on, oh wait, Troy, go backwards again, just a sec. So focus on the theta. The original theta is, what is that? 10, right? About 9.510. Now watch, Troy, go slowly. Slowly, watch what that theta does, folks. As time is hitting, okay, watch the theta number. I mean, you can watch the other graphs, but you can see what's happening to the theta. It's going which way? Down. It's going down. Why? because your option is going, it's toast, right? What you paid $570 for, it's the slow descent to zero. And then Troy, who sold it to me, is just saying, yes, yes. So that's the K. And then how about, what's the other Greek? Vega?
Do Vega, yeah.
So we start the Vega, started from the beginning. And all right, so what's our Vega there? Wait, at the beginning it's 60, right? But slowly as you move towards time, and again, it's the same thing. Vega, as time goes on, it's decreasing, right? Your volatility, your extrinsic value is decreasing. Why is your extrinsic value decreasing? Because it's going to zero. Because we're not getting anywhere near, unless we go near the strike on the upside. So again, folks, I'm in love with the modeling because you can just see these things. If you're a visual person, you can go see, okay, what's the deltas on the ups? What if we go up? What if we go down? What if we take each Greek and go separately? And then when you get good at this, you put your 3D glasses on, you get your 3D glasses from Troy. Troy, give them the bit. I think they're ready for show them hit them with the 3D.
Oh boy. Oh boy, man. I'm going to take the Vega off.
Bam. All right.
So you look at this.
Troy, can you explain that, please? I don't have my 3D glasses on.
I was hoping you would, Dan. So you look at this through time, okay? You look at 3D and you say, that's a weird chart. Okay. Well, what do we want on a long call? We want it to go to our 530 strike price, or we want it to go much higher than our 530 strike price. So you look at that right tail there, and you want basically, as time's going by, you're losing money. You see the red just going red there. So what you want, I mean, this is with a call, it's a very simple thing. You want two things to happen if you're along this call. The normal thing is you want deltas basically to increase because you're going up this chart. You know, you're making money because you're approaching the price. Or if you're lucky with a call, you want vol to increase, because as vol increases, because you're long Vega, you can make money via that way. And to his point, it's a complicated thing, but you know, why is a 20 delta that's down 7 points today, Microsoft, why is it still a 20 delta after it's down 7 points? Because vol has rose. And Dan, you killed it because you got out at the hard stop. You did the thing that I did not think was possible today. So you got through that list. But here's the thing, Dan, this has given me some ideas, because every Greek that we just went through, we based it on the idea that the price isn't moving.
Right.
But it's a whole different world if the price is moving. And I think Friday we should continue the long call and just look at what happens in different scenarios with the Greeks as price moves.
And we're gonna hit you hard Friday. I was gonna try to squeeze it in here, but I know we're on a hard stop here. We're gonna hit the concept of implied volatility on Friday.
With its own week, yeah.
If you say to me, if someone says like a beginner and say, you know, that was a little challenging, here's the good thing. Friday, I'm going to repeat it again. And if you don't get it Friday, I'll hit you again with it. So this is a repetition thing. And I think people can handle, you know, a little heat as long as you repeat it. And Troy, why don't you say one thing? If somebody said, you know what, Troy, how do I get if I want to get the modeling tool so I can use it for homework over the net, you know, looking at these relationships on a Microsoft 20 Delta call, and I don't have the back testing or the automation at this point, how could they get the modeling tool today for around their, whatever it is, $15 a month or something to follow along?
Well, I'll put it in the chat and I'll put it in the descriptions below, but they can go optionomega.com/register/Sheridan risk management and get 50% off their first year. So I'll put that in the show notes, in the description and all that stuff. But if you're new to options, modeling's the easiest way to do it, because it's not costing you any trade money, which is nice. Right. You can learn a lot via looking at it. So Dan, I'm off to a restaurant called Cheddar's.
Oh, don't they make the advertisement Cheddar's like all scratch?
It's all scratch kitchen. Yeah. And I'm confused by that because I've had cheddars and I don't know.
Do you like cheddar?
Listen,
is that good?
I'll eat cheddars. My son loves cheddars. But listen, we'll be back Friday. We've got a quiz for you, and we'll do some deep diving on Modeling Friday with this.
All right. Thanks, everybody.